Hello, hello, hello. So glad you're here today. We're going to be talking about natural hormone balancing that really works. That's the key. I know you're probably tired of trying things that don't work, that are natural, but today we're going to talk about a few of them that really do work based on research. And let's get started. So let me go over the agenda and then we'll get into it. So we're going to have an introduction. I'm Dr. Manon Fielding with Holistic Strategies for Eternal Youth, Menopause, and Beyond. And what we're going to be talking about, like I said, is natural hormone balancing. So what does that mean? That means to balance our hormones in a way that is natural and holistic, where you don't need to go get a prescription for it to happen. So that's basically it. That's been, the emphasis of my practice, that I want to try to help women not be dependent on prescriptions and also not to be vulnerable to the side effects of prescription medication. All right, so lifestyle, we're going to be talking about that. Lifestyle can be up to 60% of symptoms. And I know that most of us don't really want to hear that, but it's really true. So we're going to just talk about two of those lifestyle factors today. You can take the quiz, my lifestyle quiz, which has 20 lifestyle factors, and it will show you where you fall in that, give you a score. We're going to be talking a little bit about phytoestrogens and why they can be very helpful, but maybe not the one that I like the best. We're going to talk about adaptogens, which is my main topic for today, and I'm going to explain why. And the two that we're going to be discussing are ashwagandha and maca, and going over some of the research and how that can really help get rid of your symptoms in menopause and help you reverse your age at the same time. We're going to talk about two new programs with Holistic Strategies for Eternal Youth, Menopause, and Beyond, kind of a foundational program to kind of get you started and help clear up those pesky symptoms. And then our original program, our signature program, which is really about transformation in midlife. Then we're going to end with a gift drawing for one of our registered attendees. And I have a whole little, my meditation bowl that is filled with the people who registered, and I will announce the winner at the end of this talk. All right, so we're going to get started. We're going to talk about two different aspects of lifestyle, because 60% of menopause symptoms can be lifestyle related. I just think that it's a very essential part that a lot of people want to gloss over. It's not very sexy. It's something that you probably have heard over and over, and it goes in one ear and out the other, right? So the two that are the most important are exercise, because when you exercise, your menopause symptoms are just going to be so much less. It's just almost amazing how much it reduces it. And it also is going to help prevent cancer, especially breast cancer. Very important for prevention in many ways. So if there's only one change that you make if you are not exercising, that's essential. And for women, it's very important not only to do some aerobic, like 20 minutes, 20 to 40 minutes at a time. 20 minutes is minimal, 3 to 5 times a week. And also to do some weight training to work on your upper body muscles, because when we hit 50, it starts even earlier, but 50 starts to be noticeable that you start decreasing your muscle mass. And as a chiropractor, I work 2 days a week in the office. I see so many injuries of men and women who want to build up their body, and they think they can just go and start working out with even 5 pounds can be too much for some people if you haven't been doing anything. So start out low, 1 to 2 pounds if you're not doing any weight training, build it up. And that is enough to help to increase your bone mass and your bone density, and also to improve your muscle tone. The other one that is extremely important is glucose balance. And that's something very easy to get tested for.
And glucose balance affects everything in our body. It affects your hormone levels. It affects your memory and cognition and help prevent Alzheimer's disease. It prevents just a host of different issues with sleep, with cortisol levels, everything. So, it's been probably about 5 years or so that I cut out all the sugar out of my diet. And I noticed that I have much less need for sleeping, for having, not sleeping, but having a nap during the day. I have a lot more energy. I'm almost 70 and I see people in that I have more energy than a lot of people that I know that are much, much younger. And so I know that that has made a profound difference in my life. So I wanted to just mention those two things. I have a menopause anti-aging quiz that have 20 lifestyle factors. And if you want to know how you're doing on your lifestyle and your aging, you can take that quiz. I'll be happy to provide that link to you so you can take the quiz. The next thing is the phytoestrogens, because those are natural hormone balancing, but I don't like to use them as much because they are estrogenic and it's very hard to know how much to take and how to balance the hormones because you don't know what their levels are. They don't know how it changes it. They say it doesn't work or they're having more hot flashes and that means that you're taking too much estrogen. So it's kind of a shot in the dark type thing. And I'm not really finding that that is as beneficial as the ones that we're going to spend most time talking about which is the adaptogen. So phytoestrogens includes, just so you know, if we're talking about black cohosh, soy isoflavones, and about the lignans like flaxseed oil. And people have good results. So I'd rather that than when you take HRT, it's dosed and you don't really have a chance to make it higher or lower in increments. They just come in certain standard dosages. And a lot of times that doesn't work for women. And also they stay on it too long. And if they don't change your lifestyle, when they come off of it, they're still going to end up having pretty significant issues coming off of it. And I see lots of women who were on HRT and when they come off of it, because they didn't change other things, they actually have some very serious illnesses, immune system, autoimmune diseases, osteoporosis that develops when they come off of the HRT. So what I'd like to do is help you find things that you can stay on that are anti-aging and that are truly benefiting you in menopause. So the first one that I'm going to talk about today is the ashwagandha. It's an adaptogenic. And the difference between an adaptogen and a phytoestrogen is that they help the body function better. And they often will continue to work when you're not on it. They may not work forever, but they have long-lasting results. They're helping your own hormonal organs function in a better way. And so this one, the ashwagandha has been used in Ayurvedic medicine for probably 3,000 years, I think I read. And it has a lot of benefits in all different aspects, not just in hormone balancing, but in a variety of things. So I'm going to go over a list of that. So sexual wellness. It's been studied to improve sexual function. And when I did my libido video for you guys, I did mention that ashwagandha was a big one. And it doesn't tend to increase estrogen as much as testosterone. And I think that's where the sexual potency comes from. It impacts that libido, and it also has increased sexual satisfaction. So I really like the ashwagandha. And there's a lot of good research on this. It also helps to improve breast health. So there actually have been some studies that have shown that ashwagandha supports breast cancer, not only prevention, but also for women who have breast cancer that are in treatment. It helps the treatment actually work better. And there's, mostly in other countries, because our doctors don't understand this as much, that they're using ashwagandha in conjunction to help with the treatment because it has anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties that really support breast health. So libido and vitality kind of go hand in hand. The energy, but it's a calm energy. It's not like drinking a lot of caffeine where you're feeling really stimulated, but you have good energy and it's a relaxed energy. It helps a lot with depression and anxiety. Actually, I started using it with a patient that had mild depression. So I'm not talking about someone who has really severe depression that needs to be hospitalized or anything. I'm talking about the kind of depression that maybe often comes about because of hormonal imbalances. So it's used as an antidepressant and an anti-anxiety and even helps women who have panic attacks. And actually, that is, I think, when I actually started is when I was having panic attacks from menopause, and ashwagandha was very, very helpful there. And while it's doing that, it's helping your neurotransmitters work better in your brain and reducing cortisol levels. So it helps with sleep. Insomnia is impacted, and that's also a big improvement for a lot of women who are in menopause. So it has that adaptogenic property. So those are some of the main things that I have found with ashwagandha and that really impact a lot of menopausal symptoms. It's not as much for the vasomotor symptoms like the hot flashes and things like that, which is we're going to talk about. The next one is the maca, and that one has a lot of those properties. And that's why I was saying that ashwagandha and maca actually work amazingly well together. And we're going to talk a little bit now about that. So before I go into the maca, anyone have any questions about ashwagandha? Let's talk a little bit now about maca. Do any of you know much about maca? Anyway, maca is one of the most amazing findings in terms of menopause support and the most exciting thing to come along in many, many years. And it's just starting to be used more in our society and in our culture. And it comes from Peru in the Andes Mountains. And the Peruvians have been using maca for many, many years, and they use it as a drink and they do eat it. It's a tuber that looks a little like a turnip. And that's kind of what it reminds me of. And it has different colors. So, okay, so good. You said you've used it before. So we're going to talk, that's what we're talking about now. And it comes in different colors, and different colors are good for different purposes. And for menopause, what I'm finding is most of the research has been done on red maca and specific type that we're going to talk a little bit more about. And it's also an adaptogen, like I was saying with the ashwagandha, but it has a little bit different makeup and different things that it works well with. So the Peruvians call it the Peruvian Viagra because of its effect on libido and on sexual function. So not only does it help stimulate your desire, but also helps with your sexual satisfaction and the function of your sexual organs for men and for women. I'm going to talk about the red maca specifically that is used with female issues, but it does actually work really well for men. And there are certain types that work really well for men to prevent prostate cancer, just like it actually helps with breast cancer as well. So these are some of the benefits of maca. It's nutrient rich. So it has a variety of vitamins and minerals. So it's just like an all-round healthy food type of thing that is an overall health and anti-aging effect. Secondly, it has very high antioxidant levels. So that's also an anti-aging factor. It helps increase iron levels. And I've seen a lot of women on the menopause site that are having iron issues and have to take iron. Well, the maca is actually going to help increase your iron levels. It relieves hot flashes and night sweats extremely well. This is one of its main effects and one of the first things that women notice because I'll tell you a little bit more when I get to that study, but they did this study for 8 weeks, and in a short period of time, within 2 to 4 weeks, they were noticing a significant improvement in the vasomotor, hot flashes, hot flushes, night sweats. It also helps with anxiety and depression. It regulates mood. Mood doesn't get talked about as much, but I remember in early menopause, I had a lot of difficulty just getting angry for no reason at all. And I didn't really understand what was happening. And I really wish I had had maca then, but anyway, or ashwagandha, because they both do help with that. But it helps to regulate your mood and you just feel better more of the time because it regulates those emotions. It helps with insomnia, so helps sleep. It's adaptogenic and balancing hormone. So it does increase your estrogen, but it helps your body produce the level of estrogen that you need. I hope that makes sense because it's not the same as having estrogen put into your body, which really is so much better for us because it allows our body to decide how much and what it needs. It also helps increase testosterone, which I guess, same thing with the sexual function. It helps with balancing that as well. So with the increased estrogen and testosterone, you have the improvement in your libido, bone density. I just had my bone density test done today, but they told me I'm not going to be able to get my results for like 2 weeks because it takes time to read it. That is a really big issue, like I was saying earlier with bone density, because if you can't stay on HRT forever, which you really can, you're going to suffer bone density issues if you're not having some estrogen in your body. And this really, in an 8-week period, they measured an improvement in bone density. So that's actually pretty amazing. Not only that, it improved the BMI. So women lost weight, but they lost fat, not muscle. It was muscle preserving. So that's why I was saying with the lifestyle, if you improve your exercise along with taking the maca, you're going to have just a nicer body. You're going to have a decrease in weight, improvement in your muscle, and going to definitely be anti-aging in terms of how you look and how you feel. It benefits cholesterol, but it did increase the good cholesterol and did have some effect on cholesterol, but it wasn't significant, they said, because it was only 8 weeks. So that's something that needs to be investigated over a longer period of time. But all the ones that I've told you happened over an 8-week period. So I think that's pretty amazing. So the clinical studies were done with a specific type of maca called Maca Go, G-O. And that is the red maca. And it is pre-gelatinized, which I'm going to explain in just a minute. I also wanted to explain that it has an improvement on thyroid function. So not only, so it's improving all your hormonal system, the pituitary, thyroid, adrenal, gonadal axis, they call it. And what that means, it's improving the communication network of your entire hormonal system so that you're producing the hormones that are going to be most beneficial for your body at that time. It also has chemopreventive compounds, which, like I said with the ashwagandha helped prevent breast cancer. This also has ability to prevent cancer cells from growing in your body. I'm going to go over to the survey that they used. They did a lot of biomarkers where they measured all these different through the blood, But they also did I don't know if you've ever seen the Green's symptom index, if you've ever taken it, but it has a list of multiple symptoms of menopause, some that are common, some that are not as common. I'm going to show that to you in a minute. But all of those symptoms improved over an 8-week period, some more than others. And I also wanted to mention that, like we were talking about, that it was red maca, maca go, and they recommended in the study. It actually was a different study. They were comparing different types of maca, Peruvian, and China is also producing maca now. So you need to be careful and know where it's coming from, because the Chinese maca has sometimes found to have adulteration and also have heavy metals. And that's kind of the scary thing, and what we really have to watch out for in terms of increasing our toxicity and having organic products and having products that have not been grown in areas that have those kinds of irritants and toxins in it. And the Peruvian maca has been found to be much cleaner in that respect. They have not had a problem with heavy metals. The dosages that they did in the study range from 1.5 grams to 5 grams. And they really stress the importance that it is a very individual thing in terms of how much you need. And they really recommended working with a professional that can help you monitor and know how to start it, how to increase it over time, and how much to take for your specific situation. And if your lifestyle is really good, you actually are not going to need as much as someone whose lifestyle has not been very supportive and has more menopausal symptoms. So those are important things to know. The other thing is that we were talking about the pre-gelatinization, which I can hardly say, but that without it being pre-gelatinized, it can cause stomach irritation. And if you have digestive problems or any kind of digestive issues, I strongly recommend that you stick with that pre-gelatinized, because it breaks it down, it makes it much more bioavailable, and it is easier to dose as well. So those are all the benefits and things that I found with the maca. And like I said, I'm really excited. I did create an entire video on this research, and it's on my YouTube channel. If you're interested, you can go take a look at that. Now I'm going to share my screen and go over the symptom survey. This is the list of all of the different categories that they looked at in this study. That's another one: heart beating strongly, quickly, feeling tense or nervous, difficulty sleeping, excitable, panic attacks, concentration. So that's another thing it helps with: concentration and attention. So people who have attention deficit disorder, this is going to help them. We all have some difficulty concentration just because of the way our brains work with TV and phones, etc. Feeling tired or lacking in energy, going to help loss of interest in things. A lot of women tell me that they become a little more isolated in menopause and not as interested in doing things and going out. Feeling unhappy or depressed. Crying spells, that's another one. Yeah, I've seen that on the website. Irritability, that's a biggie. Feeling dizzy or fainting. There was somebody who wrote about that on the menopause side just the other day. Pressure or tightness in your head. That's that one I hadn't heard of. Parts of the body feeling numb or tingling. That is common. Headaches, muscle and joint pain, loss of feelings in your hands or feet, breathing difficulties, hot flushes, sweating at night sweats, and loss of interest in sex. So those are all the ones that they scored. And this is what I use in my practice to help determine where you are in terms of menopause and how severe your symptoms are. We kind of get a total. And that way we can also monitor how you are before and after working together. So before we go on, I'd like to open up for any questions about what I've covered so far. Do I relate to these symptoms here? Go ahead and unmute.
Yeah, I have difficulty sleeping. Is a big one for me. A lot of times, I have difficulty getting to sleep, and then once I do, lately I've been waking up at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and sometimes it could take me up to 2 hours to go back to sleep again.
Okay. That is definitely one of the symptoms. So what, any other ones? Or have you had problems with any of the others that are gone now?
No, never. Even perimenopause, never really had hot flashes or night sweats. I had some irregular heartbeat issues when I was going through perimenopause. I do have sleep apnea too. So
Okay.
that, the combination of the two
Mhm.
isn't great.
Right. Right.
Ever since I had my son 23 years ago, I've never had a good night's sleep since.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, well, yeah, I've
That.
always been a bad sleeper, but in menopause, it's just gotten. And they also say the older that you get, the less sleep you would get. Where I used to get 8 to 9 hours. Now, and I only noticed this because my phone tracks it. Because I'm on a sleep schedule now, where at 10:15 I get an alarm to start winding down for bedtime. My bedtime is 11 o'clock, and then I get up at 7. So it's tracking the amount of time I'm sleeping in that window. And I looked back to the holidays, and I generally get about 6 to 6.5 hours on most days.
Mm.
So, yeah, I'm not happy. I
Right.
would like to get more
Right.
sleep.
I know it is, but it's so far reaching. The more I read about it, the more I recognize that a lot of people who have not consistently got enough sleep for years and years are definitely at pretty significant risk for cognitive decline and other forms of dementia. So it is something that is a good thing for you to be looking at and trying to figure out what's going on there. So anyway, I'm going to talk a little bit now about the program that I offer through Holistic Strategies for Eternal Youth, Menopause, and Beyond. So you know what I do. I have two programs, the foundational plan, which is new because a lot of women were finding that the signature plan was maybe a little too much for them, or they weren't sure if they wanted to do that. And it's kind of makes it a little bit easier entry. So it gives you the essential guidance and support to build a solid foundation towards your goals and eliminate most of the symptoms that are causing the majority of your suffering. So a lot of women like to just come in at that level and at least kind of get started. And everything that you put towards the foundational plan can actually be put towards the signature plan if you change your mind and you want a little more in depth work. The signature plan is comprehensive training and coaching that encompasses mind, body, and spirit, with additional training on the anti aging, your unique human design, clearing energy centers, which could actually get to the crux of some very similar deep symptoms that you really haven't been able to clear up over years and years that could be related to problems in those that are lodged in those energy centers unconsciously, from old trauma, from negative thought patterns, and things that you're just not able to get over. They affect us in a very deep level. Then that would be the kind of coaching that you would want, because a simple supplement is not going to clear all that up. We include prosperity and life purpose training for women who like to really transform their lives. They may not be entirely happy with everything in their environment, with their relationship, or what they're doing with their life. And I found for myself when I hit it in my 50s, 60s, that my life purpose really changed. Everything I wanted was very different than what I wanted when I was, 20, 30, 40. And so those are all the things that would be included in the signature plan in the coaching program. And that is a course and coaching program. So there's coursework and coaching that goes on for up to a full year, as long as it takes for you to get through the program. The foundational plan, and both of these plans include special patient hormonal and metabolic testing. So you get discounts 40 to 45% off of retail for any kind of testing that we need to do. It could be urine, it could be blood test, it could be a blood spot. Some of them are things you do at home. Some of them are things that you would be sent to a center and have your blood taken. And all of that is pretty seamless. You just get the test kit and you go and do the test in the privacy of your own home. You also receive 10% off of all menopause anti-aging supplements and health products that I offer on my website. You get the basic interactive courses that are on the health, wellness, and lifestyle. You get a coaching or consultation session every month with discounts on additional coaching sessions. And all payments that you put towards services in that program, like I said, can be applied to the signature plan. This plan is only $99 a month. And so, like I said, for women who really aren't sure what they want, but they want to get the savings on the testing and on the supplements and do some coaching with me, then that would be a good entry level. And you can stop at any point. That one is $99 per month, and you get the services if you are in it that month. So, any questions about the two programs?
Is anything covered by insurance?
No, these are not covered by insurance, although you can use flex cards and things like that for the testing. So I have my meditation bowl that has everybody who has registered. And what we're going to be giving away is one of the Feminescence Pro, that is the professional support hormone balance. It's one of the Maca products. It's for postmenopause. And I will help you decide how to get started with that, whoever is the winner of that. So I'm going to pick a winner. All right, let's see who it is. Colleen McCarthy. Okay, so these are all the people who registered. Now, everyone who registered will get a welcome email from me with a copy of this video. And also, I will link you to the menopause anti-aging quiz and how to contact me and set up a consultation if you're interested in any of the programs. You're not committed to make that decision until we talk and decide whether it's a good fit. But if you're interested, I definitely recommend that we have a chat. Okay, that's great. Well, thank you for being here today. I really appreciate it. And I was very happy to present this information. I'm going to be doing this class regularly. I hope that you got something out of today, and I look forward to talking to you again in the future.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.